excited to share this flute with you. There's so much to tell. I've actually had to try and make this video a number of times because I keep talking way too long. So I wanted you to be able to hear this instrument before I tell you a little bit about it. This particular flute is one that I've been building towards for a number of years. I want to be able to make instruments that when I'm done, I feel like I have grown. That there has been a significant change within me in the process of creation. And so I've created opportunities to challenge myself. The Flutes of the Month are one of the creations that I did specifically to bring about this instrument. Now this instrument is made out of Honduran Rosewood Root Burl, which is also very rare. Not quite, I assume it's as rare as Brazilian rosewood. I mean, I don't know that I'll ever see Brazilian rosewood burl again, but I'm almost certain I'll never see Honduran Rosewood Root Burl again. This is a cherished reality. It's just unbelievable that it's here. But anyways, I did a video on YouTube and I called it the Great Honduran Rosewood Burl Hunt, and so I went looking specifically for Honduran Rosewood Burl. I live in Utah. This Sawyer that I knew had some burls lives in just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. So I bought a plane ticket. I knew he had burls. I didn't know he had some decent sized ones that we talked about and whatnot, but I really didn't know for sure what I was going to get, or it was just going to be a waste of a trip. Because that was the only thing I went for. I went down one day, came back the next. And so I get down to Steven's place and we look through all of the burls that he has. He shows me everything. I'm going through all these containers, looking at everything. And out of it all, I picked 2 burls, and they were big, big burls. And they're at least long enough that I could get, you know, like low C's and D's and things like that out of it. At any rate, so I choose these 2 burls, and they look very different. One of them looks just like most Honduran Rosewood burl looks like. It's kind of a yellowy, silvery kind of wood that's been, the bark has been sprayed off, maybe a little bit of bark here or there. And the other one looked different. It was smoother, and it had like this, it was kind of a red skin. Instead of having any kind of bark, it had like this skin looking stuff on it. Anyways, the only time I've ever seen anything like that has been when I've been digging and got into some roots of some trees and different trees. I think ponderosa pines are like that. Different trees, you know, will have that kind of a look to them. And so when we open this guy up, lo and behold, we opened the first one, and the wood's just gorgeous. It's just tip to tail Honduran Rosewood Burl, the most tightest figured, most amazing Honduran Rosewood Burl I've ever seen in my life. We sold out of that wood a couple of years ago. Well, I'd hidden one piece of that wood too, but this wood, I had one client that just was in love with this wood, particularly. She's a very discerning ear and a very accomplished player, and so we were making her a number of double flutes out of Honduran Rosewood Burl, or Honduran Rosewood Root Burl. And so those flutes, you can actually see almost all of the Honduran Rosewood Burl, Honduran Rosewood Root Burls flutes that I've made on the website under search flutes. And so if you put in Honduran Rosewood Root Burl, it'll pull up a number of pages of flutes. And that's it. That's all that I made. And there was one piece, I knew in my gut when we were making it, it was going so fast. I thought, man, I'm never going to see this wood again. This is just going to be gone, and it'll just be a memory, and I want more. I want to have this wood with me a little bit longer than that. And I know that's silly. I really do understand how that is really, truly silly. But for me, it's not. I love woods. I love their variety. I love looking at them. Even when it's just raw wood, I just get a tremendous joy from the intensity of the grains that are there and whatnot. At any rate, so I'd put one stick of this Honduran Rosewood Root Burl aside. I'd also put aside one of the other Honduran Rosewood Burl sticks, and I used it, I think 2 years ago. Other than that, we've been out of that wood for a long time. Anyways, so both were just spectacular woods, but the Root Burl acoustically was superior. It had a sound that just was like nothing else I'd heard. Very rich, extremely full and vibrant, very crisp yet not harsh. Just all the wonderful mixes you could hope for out of an instrument. And so I set aside that burl, and I had also some Brazilian rosewood burl that I stashed aside. I've got 2 flutes left in Brazilian rosewood burl. And they're actually the ones that started the quest. And the quest was to make a flute that was worth $10,000. Those Brazilian burls that I've got, the 2 that I have left, those will make $10,000 flutes. I don't know what they're going to look like yet. I'm still working on that part. So the whole part of trying to work towards something led me to thinking, man, I've got to really be pushing myself regularly so that I don't get stagnant in my creativity and in my growth as an artist. And so I put this challenge to myself of making a flute that when I was done, I felt inside that to sell it less than $10,000 would be wrong, because the flute would be worth that much. So that thinking led me into the Honduran Rosewood Root Burl. And so I thought, man, you know, I'm going to make a flute out of that piece of wood. It'll be my starter to all of this. And I'm going to make a flute out of that piece of wood that's worth at least $8,000. Now, this particular flute is $8,550. It's $8,550. And a lot of that is because of how rare the wood is. This is just a wood that I'll never see again. You'll never see again. And if that was all there was to it, it wouldn't be worth what it is. But acoustically, it has a huge difference in the acoustic sound of it. And that's what really makes it different. So anyways, that was my goal. The whole Flutes of the Month were designed to keep me sharp, to keep me always thinking of new ideas and new ways of telling stories with flutes and doing things of that nature. And so that's where the whole Flute of the Month thing started. Now, on this flute, you'll see some gold and silver inlay. This is a yellow cedar burl mouthpiece, a little bit of ebony, the turquoise, and then the gold and silver inlay. And in the middle of that inlay, you'll see the gold and the silver coming together like this in a kind of a, let's go this way, coming together like this in a to use sort of fashion, coming together to use. And the first place I ever saw that symbol was down in Canyon de Chelly at White House. That's a rock art, or it's a place where some old homes are up on the cliff, like, you know, who knows how old, from the folks that lived down there, the Navajos that lived down there, you know, hundreds of years ago. You know, it's where they lived, things like that, or maybe 1,000, I don't know. But anyways, it's a beautiful place and one very much worth visiting. There's a feeling there. There's feelings in that canyon that are very unique to that space. And the union symbol, I didn't know what it was, but when I came back out of the canyon, there was a gal there selling some pottery. And I'd taken pictures of a lot of the rock art that I could see down there, and one of them was that union symbol. And she told me that it was a union symbol, and that it was used for marriages, for joining, you know, contracts, social contracts, or just other things that signified joining. That's where that symbol would be used. And so on this flute, the symbol is used here to represent the joining of heaven and earth, the coming together of heaven and earth. And the eagle or the hawk, this is actually red-tailed hawk. are designed to be a red-tailed hawk. As you can see the tail and the yellow out of the root burl and the yellow cedar burl. This hawk is powering itself towards the sun. And as you can see, the sun here in yellow cedar burl and gold inlay and yellow cedar burl for the main body of the sun down here. And so as the bird flies towards the sun and stays up high where the sun's rays can engulf it and cover it with light, it gets cleansed by the UV light of parasites and bacterias and things that it can't, really cleanse itself of in any other way. They're not going to get rid of the microbes swimming in water. And so that the bird goes to the sun to receive that cleansing. And I think that's really, I think it's very beautiful. We often the bird represents the taking of our prayers to Creator, and all of this, to me, the symbology is very meaningful. On the end of the flute, you see the silver inlay, and then this last piece of silver on the end is actually a coin that I cut to fit the end of the flute, and so there's no seams in it, and then just got it all fit. My wife thinks that's really cool, and frankly, so do I. It's pretty awesome. And it gets really shiny too, so it's kind of fun having that bare silver there at the end of the flute. So again, this flute is called Union. This is one of a kind. There'll never be another flute like this. Never be another flute made from Honduran Rosewood Root Burl. Since we're around Thanksgiving time, I'd like to play something on the flute that I'm very grateful for. One of the things that I'm very grateful for, and I know this has come at a very steep price for people on every side of the forming of this country, I really cherish the freedoms that we have today. And there's lots of things that aren't right. There's people think very different ideas about different things within our society today. But we truly do have freedom. We truly do have our independence, and for me, that's something that I cherish a great deal. I'll go ahead and play something like that. Again, I'm Brent Haynes. You can reach me at www.woodsounds.com or call me at 801-822-1415, and email is always good too at Brent, B-R-E-N-T, at woodsounds.com, WOODNDS.com. Have a wonderful day, and if you've got a dream of a flute that you'd like to see created, I'd be delighted to talk with you about it. It's one of my favorite things to do in all the world.